Welcome to Video Hell Show, everybody. My name is Frank, and today we're going to talk about street law. So I'm happy to report to everybody, or maybe sad to report, depending on how you look at it, that I finally found a good movie. I watched Street Law. When there's nowhere else to turn, Street Law. Let me read a little bit off the box here, as I always do. Street Law, starring Franco, Nero, and Bach. It will blow you away. So there's two taglines. And then we got a guy, robber dude here with the gun in your face. Action adventure, rated R, hey definitely. Let me read a little bit here off the back as well. Street Law, starring Franco, Nero, and Bach. Franco Nero gives a compelling performance in this gritty, action-packed story of vigilante justice. A vivid and violent study of one man's frustrated war on crime, one man's street law. Carlo, a self-employed industrial engineer, takes his place in a bank line. Just as he readies a large deposit of cash, a gun is shoved against him, and three hold-up men take over the bank. When a teller manages to set off the alarm, the hoodlums flee, taking Carlo as a hostage and later abandoning him, brutally beaten in their getaway car. After he's released from the hospital, Carlo is determined to see his captors brought to justice. At first, he cooperates with the police, but when they prove ineffective and indifferent, he takes on the relentless search himself, fueled by revenge. A search that leads him down into the steamy inner circles of the underworld and ultimately ends in a backstreet warehouse where a final savage shootout begins. You almost don't even have to watch the movie, that tells you the whole thing. But 77 minutes, real short, but full features usually come in at 90. We've said that before. Honestly, I'm going to spoil it right now. I'm not going to hold it against this film. Released by... Oh, and there's a reason for it, but we'll get into that. Released by Vid America in 1984 on VHS, but this movie is actually from 1974. The reason it's 77 minutes is the American cut. This is an Italian film. The American cut comes in at 77 minutes, but I believe there's either a UK edit or an Italian edit or something like that adds like another 20 or so minutes to the film and makes it almost a full 90 or longer than a full 90, and apparently helps make some scenes make more sense. I gotta get my hands on that cut. I think there might be a Blu-ray of it out there somewhere. The movie starts right away with an opening credits montage of, great, it's amazing. It opens in action. Like, you're not sitting there waiting for stuff to happen. The first thing that's happening under the opening credits is a group of people smashing up a city and carrying out a heist. To some fantastic music, by the way. The road I have to run is so long. Time to hang around. So long. Really, it's the theme. There might not be too many actual songs in the whole film, but the theme runs throughout, and they cue it in at just the right moments. And in this opening montage, great stunt work, great effects, great directing, and great editing choices. Like, everything. It's just so sharp and tight and well done. I really was immediately drawn in by that. And when I come to see who directed it, because I wasn't really paying attention when I started watching it, I just popped it in, I'm like, Street Law, didn't really care who was in it. I was just like, well, I'm gonna watch this film. I didn't actually read the back before I watched it. I usually don't. This time I was like, screw it, let's watch it. And I realized I saw a name I found familiar. I'm like, Enzo G. Castellari directing. Why? Where do I know that name? So I looked it up real quick, and lo and behold, I should have remembered. He directed one of my favorite movies, which was Escape from the Bronx.
Oh my God.
Which my friends Paul and Kenny joined me to talk about in my triple header episode. Which you can watch down my stream here a little bit. I'll link it in the comments as well. But that movie it's such a fantastic, schlocky masterpiece. It's great and terrible. It's everything you want from a so bad it's good movie, and I highly recommend watching that. This movie, however, is a really, really good movie in every way, in my opinion. Some of the best of what the 70s had to offer.
this stuff. I'm just keeping it for...
After we get that opening credits scene, we get Franco Nero walking into the bank, as it says on the back of the box. Takes his place in line, starts to ring a transaction, and the place gets robbed.
Don't anybody move! This is a holdup! Anybody move, they get hurt! I'll kill anybody who goes near the alarm! I'll kill him! This is no game! Go to that station, go listen with everything you got! Hurry!
Pretty violently, the dudes run in, and it's shot in a combination of like handheld for some really chaotic action sequences that make it feel like really close and tight.
Get over there!
And really nervous and everything it should be from that kind of shoot. Mixed in with some lockdown shots with some quick pan and tilts around with some people. It's really just well edited, well shot, really tense. And Franco Nero was about to finish his transaction. He notices his money's on the counter, goes to grab it. Bad guys say, "What the hell are you doing?" Beat him up.
And stop wasting time! What are you doing? You shit!
They kicked some dude when they ran in too, by the way. They kicked his crutch out. Really cruel. So they're going visually. I believe the director is going out of his way to show in real quick succession, just visually showing you how cruel these guys are. So they kidnap Nero, they take him with them, and they beat his ass in the car.
This doesn't come off first, we can thank you, mister! What the shit were you trying to do, man?
He's, not looking so hot. And they dump the car in a seaport where they had another car waiting in a shipping container. So showing they're very well organized, smart, orchestrated.
All between 25 and 30. Driver with a white outfit. Jaguar plates 44679.
Unit 4 moving from Deer Grass to the warehouse in locked area A. White outfit moving into warehouse block area.
Immediately, it's weird, funny, kind of, that immediately, like, the cops and the press show up. Because after this car chase happens, it's a really well-orchestrated car chase, by the way, where the bad guys are escaping the cops. So really action-packed couple first minutes. Like I said earlier, this movie is a really great example of starting in action, where stuff is happening, not allowing the story to build up, but starting where the build-up already is. Sometimes I criticize films for not telling you anything in the beginning, like not introducing you to characters, but when you start amidst action like this, I feel like it's okay. Because you're waiting to then find out who it is after the action is finished versus told, not shown everything up front. So we kind of get some information about the characters, the bad guys, the situation, the feelings of these people before we even know their names, which is fine because it doesn't take long for you to find out. I'm not going to go too deep into this movie or spoil it too much because I honestly like it. I think you should watch it. It's a worthwhile film, especially from the 70s. If you're into retro 70s film or into just vigilante movies and things like that, well worth it for that, I think. Great pacing, in my opinion. It knows when to speed up and slow down. It knows when to give you information. Instead of like people directly saying lines to give exposition to inform you on a situation, like sometimes you'll end up reading it as they read it from like a headline, which I guess is still expository, but it's at least different and visually interesting and breaks up the character saying fact about situation or character saying fact about another character. Like, it allows you as the viewer to learn it along with the character, which I think is fun. He spends most of the movie, Carlo, trying to track down the bad guys, get a bunch of weapons, gaining an ally. It's kind of like a vigilante movie like Death Wish without the rape, which is great. I don't love rape as a motivator in films, and I'm glad that this movie avoids that completely. It deals with the character feeling dehumanized after this experience, violated by this incident, which any of us would. So I'm glad like they go to the lengths to show feels violated, he's frustrated with the police not being able to do enough or not doing anything to help him.
I was just trying to get my money. I sweat for that money, do you understand? And then they hit me. What should I have done? Thank them and apologize, huh? Come on, help yourselves. Beat my brains in. The police force will make you pay for it. Bullshit. You wouldn't catch one of them if you tripped over him.
In a lot of ways, this movie is kind of like a by-the-numbers film, but like not in a way that bothers me, or it's not negative to say that about this in any way. That actually just feels like a positive point. Like, you're gonna enjoy what you see. And there's some little twists in there that you might not have seen. Now, the end battle scene that they talk about on the back, when they're in a warehouse, is a little ridiculous and cheap. It's an all-open floor warehouse with nothing in it, except for like a few scattered like piles of boxes and a giant front-end loader. So it looks like a paintball course where they have different bunkers set up, so it's a little funny. But even that sequence, you don't even mind because it's well directed. The action is good. I don't know what else to say. It's really a quality movie and of its time. But I would suggest watching it if you can find it. Might be hard. I don't know if there's too many copies of this like out there on streaming. I don't know. I have mine on VHS, as you can see. You might be able to find the Blu-ray or something like that. But very much worth my time, and I think anybody would enjoy this. What I found really interesting too, when I was going through, and I'd forgotten about this, going through Enzo G. Castellari's filmography, I'd forgotten that he had done the original Inglourious Bastards and the original Django. So Quentin Tarantino was very much influenced by this guy, and then I realized and watched some interviews where Tarantino interviewed Enzo. So he was very heavily influenced by his filmmaking directly. And then in Django Unchained, because Franco Nero was the original Django in Enzo G. Castellari's first few movies, one of them named the same as the character, Franco Nero pops into Django Unchained in a bar scene, which is really interesting. And also, you'd recognize Franco Nero from Die Hard 2. He played General Esperanza. Go out and find yourself Street Law and watch it. It's not a big ask. It's not very long, even if you find the longer cut. Enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Nothing too crazy or funny this time. Sorry about that. Next time, I'll do something a little bit, hopefully. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens next. I don't usually find good movies, so I'll expect something shitty for you next time. Thanks for watching Video Hell Show. Like, subscribe if you like what you see. And yeah, we'll be back soon with something ridiculous. Have a good one, and a happy Valentine's Day to you if I don't see you before then. See you later, everybody.
You're supposed to be here to serve the citizens, not to intimidate them. You seem more interested in my personal affairs than in the fact that I've been robbed. I've been robbed 4 times, and what have you done? Nothing! Well, the next time it happens, I'm going after those criminals myself. I'm tired of waiting around for you to do something. Tired of living in fear. Tired of your goddamn indifference!